Well, good morning, everyone. It's Bronie here again for another day in Bronie's World. And at Bronie's desk today, I have my absolutely amazing, gorgeous friend, Dr. Lisa Singletary, who has come to join us. Look, I tell you, she really is an amazing friend. Due to circumstances beyond my control and some of my speakers' control, they've had to pull out at the last minute. And I could always count on Dr. Lisa to be a last minute fill-in. I don't want to always have her as a last minute fill-in, but lately she's been doing that a lot because we've had a few people who are going through a few things that needed to pull out. So because I'm in a spot where things are a little bit difficult for me as well. So with no further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Lisa to tell you what she's talking about today, and I believe it is who is our ideal client. So
that's right. Thank you,
there
Bronie,
you
so
go.
much. Any excuse to get into Bronie's world is good with me.
Oh, that's
So,
good because I love having you. I love having you. So I'm going to mute myself because of the noise in the background so that everyone can hear you, okay?
all right.
Job's
Well,
all yours now.
okie dokie. So I went to a workshop for the last 3 days. Well, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, last 3 days. And one of the things that we discussed at the workshop was, and I really, I really had to think about this, and I've made mistakes in this area, is who is our ideal client? And I'll tell you, as distributors, there's people with such a powerful suite of products and such knowledge and such a great message that really is world changing. We think of, all right, well, everybody, right? Everybody needs it, everybody could use it. And in a way, that is true. But I got a list of criteria at this workshop about who our ideal clients would be. Now, they weren't talking about nutrition, they were talking about just marketing in general. But there were some lessons there for me. So, um, let's see if I can find my little. There we go. Okay, so here we go. Criteria for your ideal client. Number one, are there enough of them? Well, back to my introductory remarks. Yes, there are a lot of people in the world, way over 100,000, right? It's into the billions. So yes, there are a lot of people that um, are in the health and wellness pool, let's say. And then we'll be sticking our fishing rods into the pool in order to find our clients. But we have to figure out, are we using the right rod? Are we using the right bait? But now we're talking about, are we in the right pool? So here's another one. Do you like them? I never would have thought about putting that on a list of my ideal client, but in medicine, we have something called the doctor-patient relationship. And healing happens, I can't say healing, but well, I could back then. So healing happened more easily when there was a good relationship, especially a relationship of trust between the doctor and the patient. Well, as health coaches, we need to have good relationships with our clients as well. And that is going to be a key factor in in our ability to help them. So it's a two-way street. And you can talk about energy, or you can talk about uh, um, the psyche. You can talk about uh, the language. There's so many different ways where we have to meet and have to have a meeting of the minds so that we can move forward in on the health journey. All right. So are there enough of them? Do you like them? Do they have any money to pay you? It's so often I find myself wanting to give products to people that can't afford it. And sometimes they get great results for a month, right? And then the month comes around and they want that extra box. Well, they needed to pay for that, right? Or you give someone something and they don't value it because you've given them something for free. So we have to be very business minded about that. But as far as sustaining our business, I love the analogy that Tom Chenault uses. He says, I'm the lighthouse, right? I'm not going to swim out into the ocean and drown while I'm trying to save you. You've got to come to the lighthouse, and I'll meet you there. You come to me. You meet me at least halfway. But here's the phrase that I heard. This one was yesterday. You can't be a lighthouse if you can't keep the lights on. Mic drop. So, do they have any money to pay you? Do you have influence with them? I was very used to having influence in the doctor's office, but even in the doctor's office, I could write prescriptions and people wouldn't get them filled, or they would get them filled and take them for a couple days and decide they don't like something about them, and maybe that was just fine for them overall. But back in just thinking about influence, what do we call them? Doctor's orders, right? That's what I was used to. But in this world of nutrition, health, and wellness, there's a whole different uh, there's a whole different paradigm of influence. And people will come to me still, even though I'm not practicing medicine, and they'll ask me about their condition and ask me for should they get this surgery or that surgery, or should they take this medication or that medication. And then if I suggest something natural, oh, well, I take vitamin D. It's like all of a sudden they are nutrition experts and they have their program all together, right? So my influence is very different in the health and wellness world. So that influence has something to do with the reputation we build over time. And the number one thing that we can do to build our influence is to be a product of the product. And, I actually had a cousin that I hadn't seen for a couple years, and I had started taking the just one product, BTT, but I took 3 scoops a day, and I dropped 85 pounds in 8 months, and I continued to lose after that. So when he saw me, I was about 125 pounds down from when he saw me previously. And, his eyes got big. He's like, "What are you doing? What happened?" And I told him, that I was taking this nutrition. I probably said the wrong things at the time, but I told him. He's like, I need that. And he bought um did he buy a mega pack? He might have bought a mega pack that day. So being a product of the product gives you a lot of influence. All right, now you were starting to talk about this, Grant. Do they have, all caps here, top of mind? Do they have a top of mind problem, which means they know they have a problem? Now, I um, really have a heart for millennials. And I know that millennials, 20% of millennials have metabolic syndrome issues, 40% of adults. So there are a lot of people with dealing with metabolic syndrome, but I really wanted to reach the millennials and, um, I put together a guide for them and basically I had to educate them that they have the problem and then educate them that I might have a solution for them. So that's twice the work. So at least in the beginning, you want to start with people that have a problem, who know they have a problem. Okay, here's another criterion. Are they already looking for and paying for a solution? How much money are they spending when they go into that vitamin aisle only to get no results, right? So, or are they trying to lose weight and they're taking some kind of shake that they bought that doesn't, number one, doesn't taste good, but doesn't have the nutrition that their body needs, and therefore they're not able to lose the weight? How much money are they're just throwing down the drain? But the key is they are looking, they are paying for advice, for products, for shots, for programs. And then, but, they, for their top of mind problem. So they just need to know that we might have a solution for them that works, supplements that work, right? You want to really know, you want to get to know your ideal client. And when I say get to know them, and you can make this up, and ChatGPT can help you make this up, but who are they? How are they? How old are they? Are they male or female? Um, what Tom Chanel asks this all the time. What pops their eyes open at 2:30 in the morning? Like what problems are worrying them? What's the scariest thing going on in their minds right now? And you can speak your message straight to their heart and then say, if this is you, it doesn't have to be that way. I might have a solution for you, or, you know, let me think about a possible solution. Let me think about what's going on, or I'll keep my eye out for something that might help you. And then we get back to them in a couple of days. I've been thinking about you, and I think I might have a solution for you. So, but they've been primed, right? They've got a problem. They know they've got a problem. And then that way the the road is paved for us, and we just need to come the right time, the right way, with the right message, and develop the right relationship. So, who's your ideal client? My ideal client's name's Sophie. She's a 52-year-old professional who's having her weight is doing stuff it never did before in her life. Her hormones are fluctuating and it's affecting her work, it's affecting her energy, it's affecting her sleep, it's affecting her wardrobe. And she has a presentation coming up, and she's just standing in front of her closet looking for something that's going to fit and make her look nice and make her look professional for this big presentation. And she's just disgusted. She's my ideal client.
There you go.
Wow.
So anybody else? Who's your ideal client? And what?
Grant, now here's your ideal client.
Well, that's a bit left of field, but I would say someone on the IVF program, because they're spending a lot of money to get pregnant, and 95% of the time it's a nutritional problem rather than a biological problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
And do you have a personal story that you relate to them?
No,
I
my
mean, not that
wife,
you were trying to get pregnant, but
my wife got pregnant every time I walked in the room, so it wasn't an issue for me. But I would have always wanted to be a dad, so it would have been an issue if I couldn't have been a dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, and how would you start your messaging? Talk to them.
It's a very good question. I know that they're spending like $30,000 for an IVF treatment. And really, you can do it with longevity products for about a third that. Plus, you don't have to worry about birth defects, and you don't have to worry about all sorts of things. So,
But let's just pick one
right.
little the piece about the money.
Okay, money. Okay,
You could say, you know what?
Well,
You might think that it takes all of this
yeah.
money to have a baby, or to get through the challenges of trying to have a baby. But what if there was another way?
That's a very good way of looking at it. Yeah.
It's a good way of looking at it.
So you can start with a myth, right?
Yeah, that's a very
Start,
good way of looking
like
at it.
you might think that the only way to lose weight is to eat less and exercise more.
Yeah.
But what if there was another way? Nourishing yourselves and getting your microbiome in order so that your gut bacteria aren't triggering your brain to go on the hunt for all this bad food.
Yeah.
Dr.
That is
Lisa, just going on, and that's really good. You could use that sort of analogy too for what he's talking about, the IVF. So going along that road, how would then Grant go that little bit further with that client? From what if there was a cheaper way?
Right. So once, and it's the
Take
breadcrumbs
Grant through the steps that to help him understand how then he would progress if they, okay, yeah, I'm interested.
well, the next step, a great next step would be a story about
okay.
someone who tried and tried and tried like 2, 3 rounds of IVF. I don't know the maximum number of rounds. I have a niece that went at least 3 rounds. And I begged her mother, please let me just get her some nutrition. But she wasn't having it. It was all medical for her. So I stopped begging. Uh, but, if I can only say if only,
Yeah.
as far as she's concerned. But I did know their struggle, financially, struggle with the schedule, struggle with the shots and the you know, temperature taking, the charts and everything they had to go through just to get a chance of having some eggs harvested or, you know, whatever. I don't know their whole, I didn't get deep into their program, but to tell a story.
That's how Dr. Wallach got his daughter interested in longevity products, because she wanted to get pregnant and she couldn't. And she came to him crying. And then she was pregnant 3 months later. And she's been a big supporter of him ever since. And she had multiple children. That was
Wow.
his own daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know which one, but it was one of his daughters. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, and the family are the hardest to convince.
Yes.
Doc Wallach says, yep, even his daughters.
Even his daughters.
Mhm. Exactly.
And she's given him lots of grandchildren since. But it was that tears and coming to Dad, and he gave her a solution, which he'd been offering for the last 25 years.
Yeah, so he was the lighthouse.
That's right.
Right.
But he had to wait for his own daughter to come to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm.
I mean,
The lights were
sometimes all we can
shining.
do is put the information out there and the what ifs out there and wait for people. Sadly, we have to wait for people to come to us, because it's like those who are trying to quit smoking and drinking or any addiction. They always say, you know, oh, they want to, but until their mind's ready, they just it won't happen.
Yeah. So then after the story, I would ask permission. Would it be all right if I shared something with you that I think might help you? And then dead doctors don't lie.
Yeah. Dead doctors don't lie changed my world. That was the one that got me. Yeah, because I didn't understand why I was sick. And then I listened to that and I was in tears. I listened to it three times straight. Yeah.
And that's what you say when you hand them that link or disc or cassette tape, if you still got some of those around.
No one's got a cassette player.
But just what you said to me, the way you said it, that touched me.
Yeah, it still touches me, really.
And that's, you know, that's power. There's power in that powder, right? But that's and I'm so glad you allowed me to share this, because, you know, I love being a biochemistry grad and being a physician. I love digging into the products and the ingredients and the this and that. But that doesn't get people, that doesn't move people.
No, it doesn't.
Knowing what I know, and it's I don't know, Saturday I had my webinar on Saturday. And there was just at one point where I was like, look, I hate cancer. I hate heart disease. I hate metabolic syndrome. I hate diabetes. I hate arthritis. You know, and I fed the video into something called Opus Clips, which will take a long video and cut it down into clips. And it uses AI. And it named one of the clips. It made a clip of my little rant. Oh, and then I was like, okay, back to the presentation, you know, but it called that clip, I hate cancer. a doctor goes on a rant.
I'll have to look out for that one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I put it on YouTube today.
I'll have to check it out. I'm on your YouTube channel.
Yep. So, and I realized during this 3 days, I've heard it before, but I realized during this 3 days that I'm approaching my messaging all wrong. Because there's some, I want to tell people what I know, you know, I want them to see the beauty of the molecular structure and the, you know, the activation energy and all the lingo, right? But that's not going to help them. I'm doing them a disservice by doing that.
It's really hard when you have all this knowledge and you see people, even here where I am, and I'm walking past and I think, just want to help you. I can help you with that. But, you know, you just scare them off if you blurt it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of kind of a bit of a sad
Absolutely.
world, isn't it, really, when they're crying out for help, but they're not listening.
That's
And,
true.
yeah.
I just remembered the scene in one of the Star Trek movies where they come back to Earth looking for the whales, I think. And they're in the hospital and there's some woman in a wheelchair she's probably a dialysis patient or something. And Dr. McCoy caught wind of what was going on with her, and he was like, barbarians, you know. And he reached in his bag and he gave her a pill. He was like, take this. And he kept walking, right? And when they came back out of the hospital, she was in her wheelchair. She was like, woo, ah, you know? And I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to just like, here, take this. And then they get better, but they have to take it, you know.
It's very true. All right. So does anyone else have any other questions for Dr. Lisa while we're here? They're all quiet. They're shy.
All right, one product. Who's tried the Nano Balance?
Oh,
I have.
we haven't got it here in Australia, but Sean brought it down, and because I wasn't able to get to the events.
I've tried it and I like it.
There
I like
you
it
go.
too.
Good on you, Yvonne.
Awesome.
I am really looking forward to getting mine. Joanne's she's put me on the list to be the first to get it when it's stopped here.
Yeah,
Or when
I
she
can't
gets
wait. Well,
back,
let me
she's
know
got it
the
here.
let me know the second it comes in. I want to know.
Well, apparently it's the next shipment.
It
which
was
is
supposed
due
to be
early
about a
April.
fortnight.
About a fortnight?
It's very
Awesome.
soon. It's very
Awesome.
soon.
I want to know.
So what can you tell us about the Neo Balance while we have a little bit of time? Can you tell us anything about it? The benefits you've seen so far?
I keep it by my desk, which, you know, I have it right here. And I take it the first time or the first use that I use it for is if my mouth is dry when I'm speaking, because I spend a lot of time on Zooms. And like that 3 day, um, that 3 days training, we had a 10-minute break, then like a 25-minute break, and then another 10-minute break. And that was from 10 in the morning until about 10 at night. And you did not want to leave your chair. So I was a little purposefully dehydrated. You know, I did not, because usually I take my morning rise and plant-derived minerals in 64 ounces of water. And I knew that that schedule would not be conducive to 64 ounces. So I cut my water down. But if my mouth got dry, I just took a little squirt, and that kept me going through the day. Or if my mouth got dry, or if I felt a little sluggish, just a little squirt, and it gave me energy. Not like caffeine energy, but it boosted me back up. So that's my first experience. I haven't experienced. I I'll give you another report after a month of it. As far as is it different than my normal regimen? So because this is the only change that I would have made since the Rise and Restore came out. So
It'll be interesting to get some testimonials from people, as and like I said, it takes they need to use it for a good month before they really
exactly.
can and make note of how they're feeling before they start.
Yeah. And there's a glitch. I just switched over my Zyto to that new system, and there's a glitch in the software, so it won't let me scan myself because I wanted to do a scan before I started the Nano Balance and then a month in. So I did do a scan on the old Zyto system, but I wanted to do a new scan and then compare it, being a scientist. So, but we should have, there'll be about a 10-day, I have about a 10-day head start on a baseline scan. So lots of
That'll
excitement.
be interesting because it scans things that you just, brings up things you just don't think would be there.
Yeah. My last scan only gave me essential oils. Didn't give me any, and I was like, why did you just give me the? But I thought, well, that means I'm getting the minerals that I need, right? And
Exactly. It means that this is what you need to add, not what you're getting.
exactly. So I wanted it to
That's what I
validate.
thought when I first did it. And I'm thinking, well, why isn't it telling me this? And then Dr. Laura told me, because it tells you what you need to add, not what you're already getting.
Right.
Interesting.
I wanted it to say, oh, you need that, or this is right for you, right? This is right for you. But just like you said, this is what you need.
Now, that would be a good add-on. That would be a good add-on to it, saying that if it did that as well, wouldn't it? I think so.
Yep. Well, that's where Fred Van Loo and his muscle testing comes in. And, we have so many different ways of choosing the products for us. And I love that. But I don't understand them all, right?
I don't think any of us do, but we don't have to be the experts.
And we don't have to, exactly.
We have the experts that know all about that. I want to know about these things. What Fred does, I ask him.
Well, when my grandparents my grandfather used to go in the woods and get the leaves and the barks and the roots, and my grandmother made the tinctures and the poultices, and people would come around and pay them in chickens and stuff, and none of my cousins got the recipes. We were like, why didn't we get the recipes? And then I found BTT. I was like, Dr. Wallach has the recipe. And I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to lament anymore that knowledge and that wisdom, was gone, because Dr. Wallach gives us the recipe. And Steve just takes them to the moon. So.
And back.
And back.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Lisa, as everything here is, my computer's nearly flat. So we might call it quits while I'm ahead for today.
All righty.
And I just want to say, as I do here in Bronie's World, ask you all nicely to stay safe, stay informed, be empowered, but do not live in fear, my friends. And when you are just looking after your clients, looking after those around you, and being a product of the product, then you too will be powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and most definitely very great. God bless you all. Catch you again tomorrow here in Bronie's World. And thank you, my darling friend, Dr. Lisa, for being my guest again today. And thank you, Grant and Yvonne and Rusty, for joining us live. Okay, catch us all again tomorrow here in Bronie's World. Bye for now.
Thank
All right,
you.
a
Love
special
you all.
thank you for you, Dr. Lisa.